Welcome back. Today we are going to discuss June 2021 current affairs questions. Okay, this will be part 3. In this part 3 we are going to discuss 10 questions. These 10 questions cover subjects such as polity, economy, environment, geography, science and technology, international organization. Okay, so let's start with questions. We are going to start with question number 21 because till 21 we have discussed, till 20 we have discussed in previous videos. Okay, come to the question number 21. Consider the following statement. See, here we are discussing about the nuclear submarines. Okay, why we are discussing about the nuclear submarines? Because it is in news. Okay, the first question is, why India needs submarines? That can be nuclear submarine or some other submarines. Okay, but you know how many submarines are there? How many types of submarines? There are two types, right? One is nuclear submarine, another one is diesel and electric submarine. Okay, there are two types, so there are differences also in these two types. Okay, and here we will be discussing why India need to develop these two types of submarines. Okay, and so here these nuclear submarine will be based on nuclear technology. Here it is based on diesel and electric technology. This is a basic difference that everybody knows. Now the another difference is, because it is based on a nuclear technology, it doesn't require any oxygen to combust for combustion. Okay, so underwater, right? If it is underwater, it can stay underwater for many months, sometimes even years. Okay, but when it comes to diesel and electric, it cannot stay more than few days, okay, or few weeks. Okay, that too, for staying for few weeks under the water without oxygen, it should have one technology, that is anti propulsion technology. It should have. Okay, the third difference is, because it is based on nuclear means what? We all know how the nuclear reaction takes place. One collision gives rise to two, and this will give rise to another three, and another three, like the chain reaction takes place. So it is a continuous process. Okay, it will not stop at all. So the fuel will be generated at ease, so it can actually cover longer distance and go fast. But here it covers shorter distance because it is based on battery. We all know that our battery bikes or scooties will go slowly. They cannot compete with the fossil fuel based vehicles. And here one disadvantage is there for nuclear based submarines. Right, what it have to do, it have to release its coolant. Okay, while releasing its coolant, it will produce some noise. This can be detectable. This noise is very small, but still it can be detectable. So the movement of these submarines can be detectable. Here these movement of the submarines cannot be detectable because it is based on the battery will not make any sound, so undetectable. Now you tell me where we can use this nuclear submarine. After seeing these advantages and disadvantages, you can use it at high seas, right? Okay, in middle of the seas and going from continent to continent, you can use these nuclear submarines. Here you can use to safeguard the coastal areas and around the coastal areas. So you can say because it is undetectable and makes no sound, it is more stealthier than nuclear submarine. Okay, these are the basic differences you should know. Now coming to why India required nuclear technology. Because you should understand that what is this Jammu and Kashmir state. If you go like this, Sikkim will come, and this is Arunachal Pradesh, and coming down it is Mizoram, Tripura, and Meghalaya, Bangladesh, and Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and this is South India. Okay, and now what is this? This is Pakistan, right? And this is China. Okay, now you tell me, these Pakistan and China are both are nuclear powers, right? And both are not friendly states with India, right? They are not friendly states. So it is mandatory for India to excel in nuclear technologies to safeguard its security. One more, this is first point. The second point, why it is needed. What is India's ambition? India's ambition is to become a net security provider in the Indian Ocean. At least right now, to become a net security provider in the Indian Ocean. How you can become a net security provider? पहले आपके पास बहुत पावर हो तो आप नेट सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइडर हो सकते हैं. राइट नाउ in this world, what is the which is the country we can say this is a powerful country? Why we can say that? Because that countries must be having weapons of mass destruction. In these weapons of mass destruction, which is the highest weapon which can create the mass destruction, that is nuclear weapon. So it is imperative for India to have a nuclear weapon technologies. Nuclear weapon technology and nuclear equipments, nuclear based defense equipments or defense systems. Why India need this diesel and electric submarines? Because see, India is dependent upon what are here the Gulf countries, right? Okay, here what are these are the Gulf countries. Means from here India has depended upon the oil. India depends upon the oil. Okay, if this oil, this is known as energy lines. Okay, very important. If these energy lines, if India fails to secure, then India cannot secure its energy security in India. Okay, that's why to secure this we need these type of submarines which are more stealthier, very difficult to detect. Okay, for these purposes we need the what you call submarines. Okay, now the question is India developing the submarines? Yes, India is developing the two types of submarines. One is under the project, this nuclear submarine is developed under the project. What is that? Advanced Technology Vessel Project. Here this diesel and electric submarines are developed under the project, which is that project name, that is Project 75I, right? And under this, till now Arihant has been developed. Okay, the second one is Argigut is going to be developed, is underdeveloped actually, started developing but it is up in the operational process. And here there are 6 submarines will be developing, India will be developing. Okay, in the 6, actually 3 are already developed. What are these 3? Kalvari, you should remember. Next Kanderi, next Karanj. What are the another 3 that India is going to develop? One is Vela, one is Vegir, and another one is Vekshir. Okay, this is what you should know about the nuclear submarines and about the diesel electric submarines in India and its users and why India needed it. Now let's see the options. option says that, the first option says that unlike nuclear submarine, the non-nuclear submarine can operate without access to the atmospheric oxygen. Okay, this is correct or wrong? This is wrong, because nuclear submarines also not required any oxygen. Okay, this also can work without oxygen only for longer time, only if it has anti propulsion technology installed in it. The non nuclear submarine are potentially stealthier than nuclear submarine. This is correct, so answer is B. Now coming to the 22nd question. Consider the following statements. The constitution provides, see here I have spoke about the forced labor, or you can say about child labor. Okay, why it is in news I will tell. First you should understand that what 2011 census of India said. Okay, the 2011 census of India said in India there are 10.2 million child laborers. Okay, what about the 2017 and 18 NSS said, okay, the 95% of the children attending educational institutes, means the age group is 6 to 13. Between these 6 to 13 years age group, the children attending 95% of the children attending educational institutes, that can be formal or informal, and 79% of the children between the age group 14 to 17 attending the educational institutes. Means what? Here 5% is absent, here almost 21% is absent. So what these 5% and 21% people are doing there? Do you think they will be sitting at home? Imagine you not going to home, not going to school or educational institute for continuously 20 days. What your parents will do? Definitely they will slap you. Oye, kya kar rahe be? Jana hai. So right, they will definitely slap you. But what these people are doing? Definitely they will not be sitting at home. They will be going for the work, right? Okay. So this is what you call, this is, you can say this is very old report. 2001 is very old, now 10 years over. What about this 2017 and 18? This is very recent report. 2018 means 3 years back, almost 2.5 years back, you can say. Now what happened between these two, between 2011 and 2018? There is one act that government has came up, that is Child Labor Amendment Act. They have amended the act which in 2016. Okay, what this Child Labor Amendment Act 2016 says, you know, it says that it has prohibited child labor. Okay, children working under any occupation. Okay, means what? Who is this child? 6 to 14 years child is prohibited to work under any occupation. Any occupation means literally any occupation. There is no categories, but however there is exception. There are two exceptions. What is those two exceptions? You know, children, if a family has any family business, okay, then children can work in that family business, but only when they can work after the school hours or during vacations. And another exception is they can work, you know, in advertisements, in movies, like this, but this should not affect their education. Okay, these are the two exceptions that has given under this act. The second one is the children between, what, this is 6 to 14, right? The children between 14 to 17, 18 are prohibited to work in hazardous occupations and processes. Means what? They can work in non-hazardous occupations. The law itself says that after 14 years you can work under non-hazardous occupation, but not under the hazardous occupations. Okay, because of these things, because of these loopholes, okay, and because here also there is a loophole that children can work after the school hours or in vacations. How you can say that the particular children belong to particular family? Okay, the manager of that business can manipulate, right? Can actually he can employ so many children and say that these children belongs to us only. Okay, there is no some other card or some other card like that to identify these children belongs to the some other family. Okay, so by using these two loopholes, the managers of these businesses are using, still they are promote using these children in their businesses, and this labor is growing in India, or you can say sustaining in India. Actually the child labor has reduced in India, okay, after this 2016 amendment, but still it has not reduced to zero, still it is there sustaining. Okay, now this is the issue. Now you see, when the normal, during the normal times, parents are sending children for work, right? Okay, during the normal times. What about the pandemic time? Okay, due to pandemic, right? First, family income, or you can say family savings reduces, and the family breadwinner, okay, he lost his job. After lockdown is opened up, what happens? Definitely they will take their children with them to earn a good amount of money. Okay, the second thing is, due to the lockdown, due to the restrictions, due to many other things, some people can afford e-learning. Okay, what about the other children? What about the poor people children? Do you think they can actually benefit from e-learning? No, right? Because according to the NSS 2017 and 18 report, only 24% of the Indian households has internet connectivity. Okay, so you can say that 76% of the household doesn't have any internet connectivity. So it will definitely affect children education. When children is not able to study, what they will do? Parents will not sit calm. Okay, they will say, okay, chalo, we'll go and work. They will take their children with their work. So again, the child labor will increase in India. The another thing is, according to the annual survey of education report says that, okay, yeah, 2020 says that only one third of the children's got necessary learning material from the schools and other organizations. Okay, so this also says that there is a high probability that children may again go back to the work. So that's why I have asked this question. What is the question? Consider the following statement. The Constitution provides for the prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor. Will it provides or not? Article 23, it provides. Okay. The Constitution provides punishment for the violation of the prohibition of traffic in human. Is it correct or not? It is wrong, because Constitution doesn't provide any punishment. Okay, that is Immortal Trafficking Act. This act of the parliament will punish the people who infringes this right. Article 23. The Constitution protects the individual from forced labor against the state, only against the state. It's wrong. Till now we are talking about the business communities, right? Business communities can be in private players also, so it will actually protects from the even from private players. So this is also wrong. So answer is D. type of question I have already explained you in how to get good marks in prelims polity, how you can solve polity questions very easily. In that video I have explained you there are 6 type of questions that UPSC asks. In that 6 types, this is of one of the type that is mentioned. You can say it is mentioned type. Whether it is mentioned in the constitution or not, you should be knowing perfectly. So coming to the 23rd question. So why I have asked this question? See, till now in various videos we have covered about the what is vaccination or what is vaccine, what is antibodies, and what is antigens, and types of vaccines, and we have covered about types of immunization programs, that is universal immunization program, and you can say Indradhanush mission, and we have covered about the other diseases which are more important and which are actually neglected during COVID-19. Okay, like this we have covered about the steps taken by the government to address the COVID-19, specifically the major steps. Like this we have covered about the COVID-19, and one more thing I forgot to say. Who is developing these vaccines, that is indigenously developed or developed by other countries? Means I mean we spoke about the Covaxin, we spoke about the COVID shield, we have spoke about the Cobra vaccine, like that. So we have covered all these topics, right? Okay, now we are left with who is giving permission for these vaccine trials. You should know definitely, that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization. So under this organization there is one department, that is Drug Controller General of India. Okay, he will give the permission for the trials of drugs or vaccines or anything, etc. Okay, and the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, right, CDSCO. Okay, under Ministry of, it comes under which ministry? Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Okay, it derives its function from which act? That is Drugs and Cosmetics Act. Okay, this act gives, what are the responsibilities? It gives the function, it provides a functions for the CDSCO that it can approve drugs for trials, and it can regulate the import of quality, it can regulate the quality of import of drugs. It lays down the standards for drugs, obviously, right? When it is approving for trials, definitely there should be a standards. It lays down the standards for drugs, and it lays down the quality for the medical product manufactured in India. Okay, these are the functions of this. The basic functions definitely you should know, because this is very much in news. It can be asked in prelims or it can be asked in mains also. In mains even they may ask about the achievements of CDSCO. So you should be knowing achievements also. Okay, because we are talking about the CDSCO, there is one more organization, one more body that you should know, that is a National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. Okay, this authority comes under which ministry? Ministry of Chemicals and Petroleum. Okay, not Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And what are the functions of this? Actually, it will fixes and revises prices of decontrolled bulk drugs. Means it will actually fixes and revises the prices of drugs which are very important for the public, essential drugs, you can say. Here you may ask why there are two ministries which are controlling the our pharmaceutical industries and other stuff, because this ministry deals with the public health. Okay, this ministry deals with the pharmaceutical industries. This is the difference. Now coming to the options, Drugs and Cosmetic Act says that CDSCO is responsible for approval of drugs and for the conduct of clinical trials. Correct. The CDSCO is responsible for the protection of pharmaceutical exports from India. This is also correct or what? No, this is wrong, because I have told only about the imports. If you remember, not about the exports. The promotion of exports, pharmaceutical exports from India is done by whom? Very easy. Can you guess? It is Pharmaceutical Export Promotion Council of India. Okay, just now I have told what I have said. See, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare deals with what? It deals with the public health and requirements. What are the required for the public health? And Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers deals with what? He deals with the pharmaceutical industries. So export comes under what? Export comes under the pharmaceutical industries and trade. Okay, so it will come under the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers. But you should not think that this promotion of export of pharmaceutical industries, pharmaceutical council comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. That's why Indian governance is very complex to understand. Okay, this promotion of export of pharmaceutical council comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industries, not under the Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers. So come to the 24th question. The 24th question. Okay, this question why I have asked, which of the following are correctly matched? Why I have asked this question? Because see, it is in news for Carbis Bay. Okay, Carbis Bay declaration is in news. Why it is in news? Why it is recently in news, right? Recently, what happened? Pandemic happened. Everybody is suffering from the pandemic. What should be the declaration? Declaration is all about the preventing the future pandemics. Preventing the future pandemics. Okay, so this objective is correct. This is also correct. But which organization sponsoring this declaration? That is G7, not WHO. If UPSC have to ask, UPSC will definitely substitute WHO in place of G7 to make you confused. Okay, now the another thing is Alma Ata. Alma Ata is very important declaration regarding the health. Okay, even in 2018, I told you, right? In 2018, this Alma Ata declaration completed 40 years. Okay, always I told that whichever the initiatives, policies, that is very major initiative, major policy completes 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 35, 40, 200, 300, 400 years. Okay, then those policies will be very much important for the UPSC. Okay, so that's why in 2018 it as UPSC has already asked about Alma Ata in match the following. You can go and check also. So this is also correct. This Alma Ata is dealing with the health for all. Okay, India is also signatory of this declaration. And WHO in 2019 again in Astana declaration has upheld that people's health need in all cross of life should be addressed. What are those that is preventive, promotive, curative, rehabilitative services and palliative service also. So this is about the declaration that you should know. Because this is in news, you should definitely know about this. You should also definitely know about Astana, which has recently happened, that is in 2019. Coming to the 25th question. Why I have asked this question about Lakshadweep? We all know why I have asked. Because it was in news for entire June. Why? Because of 4 legislatives, drafted legislatives that the administrator of Lakshadweep wanted to enact. What are those? Lakshadweep Preventive Animals Act 2021. Next one, Prevention of Anti-Social Activities Regulation 2021. Next one, Lakshadweep Panchayat Regulation Act 2021. Next one, Lakshadweep Development Authority Regulation Act 2021. Now these 4 things seems to be very good, right? But what is the issue here? Okay, the issue is with this preventive animal regulation, what they are trying to do, the administrator trying to interfere with the traditional life of the Lakshadweep people. What is that? Selling and buying beef. Okay, these administrator want to ban this. Okay, that created protest. And another thing is what from this? What is this? Prevention of Anti-Social Activity Regulation 2021. With this, the government, the administrator wanted to introduce Gunda Act, actually introduced also Gunda Act, and he tried to revoke, you can say. There were restrictions on usage of alcohol in the island. He tried to revoke these restrictions for promoting alcohol and the tourism. Why? Gunda Act is good only, right? It will that will actually reduce the crime rate. But you should understand, in Lakshadweep the crime rate is very low. Still they have implementing this Gunda Act. Nobody knows why. And why they want to introduce alcohol in island where it is restricted? To promote the tourism? No. These island people don't like it. The island should be developed in ecological way. They don't want to follow any Maldives model. So they are protesting against this also. The another thing is, if you go to Maldives, right, there was mandatory for you to be in quarantine, but these rules were restricted, were not restricted, they are done away. So these led to what? Increase in COVID cases in COVID-19 cases in Lakshadweep. These again led to protest. We have seen this Lakshadweep Panchayat Regulation 2021. This actually designed to restrict the population growth in the Lakshadweep. But you should understand that already in Lakshadweep the fertility rate is very low, that is 1.4, which is very low compared to the national average 2.2. Okay, so again the protest is happening. Why unnecessary all these things? Our population growth is very low already. Why this guy is doing all these things again and again? Why he was trying to invoke it? Okay, like no, for because of all these unnecessary regulations, the protest took place in Lakshadweep. That's why this can be the main answer also. So you should remember what are these 4 acts and what are the issues from these 4 acts. You should remember, and after this you should know that what is Lakshadweep, because for prelims point of view it is very important. Lakshadweep is atolls, made of atolls. What atolls means? Form of corals. Okay, so this thing you should know. And what is the society in Lakshadweep? That is matriarchal. Okay, these actually they have asked in 2020 prelims. Why, what they have asked? They said that in elephant herd, okay, this herd follows matriarchal. Okay, they have asked this. Why? Because UPSC whenever they see whenever they come across this matriarchal word, they will ask in next prelims. Okay, that's why it is very important to understand why. Because we are our society is dominated by the patriarchy, right? Is based on the patriarchy. Okay, but here matriarchy is dominating in Lakshadweep. This is also you should know. And you should know about the group of islands in Lakshadweep. There are basically three groups of islands. One is Lakadiva Island, one is Minisoy, another is Amindivi Islands. So let's see the options now. Which of the following islands belongs to the Lakshadweep? That is Lakadiva, Minisoy and Amindivi, all the above, right? D. Coming to the 26, which of the following organization releases the Sustainable Development Goal Index? Which organization releases it? Is it UNEP or UNDP or Niti Aayog or WEF? Okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. It is Niti Aayog. You should remember Niti Aayog. Okay, this is a fact-based question. There is I cannot analyze it in logically. So you should remember about the Niti Aayog. That's it. Coming to 27th question. You know about dumping concept, right? What is this dumping concept? Dumping is selling. This is your country, this is your country. Another country, it is country A, country B. Here the one product cost is 2 rupees. The one book, you produced one book for 2 rupees and you are going and selling here for 1 rupee. But actually it is 2 rupees, but you are selling for 1 rupee. This is called dumping. Okay, when it is you are trying to sell it for lesser cost, so that the imports of you can export lot of books and you can dump in this market, and this 1 rupee will be less than the book cost that is manufactured domestically in the country B also. In country B it should be 1.5 rupees. Okay, so what are the types of dumping now? Okay, in the types of dumping one is persistent dumping, another one is sporadic dumping, another one is predatory dumping. Okay, what is this persistent dumping? It is indefinite international price discrimination. And sporadic dumping means what? See, this is India, this is China, you take. Okay, China, what does it do? China requires every year 100 tons of wheat. Example I am saying. Okay, wheat. But this year it produces 400 tons of wheat. Okay, but it requires only 100, right? What it will do next? Another 300. It will just take all this another 300 and come to India, and it will sell at very low price. Okay, but do you think every year it can produce 400 tons? No, right? It is occasionally happens. Sometimes it happens. Okay, so occasionally when it happens, when something happening occasionally like that, then it is known as sporadic dumping. And the predatory dumping means what? Now the classic example of predatory dumping is China only. Right now it is following also. It will produce the products and it will sell in India for very less prices. Even if these selling in India will cause them loss. Why? Each product cost will be here 2 rupees, but they are selling here for 50 paisa. Okay, then they are facing the cost of loss of 1.5. You may think, अरे पागल है क्या China? Why they are selling for so low prices? They are facing the loss also. Why? Because it continuously it will follow this process for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Okay, what happens 7 years? See, our domestic industries also try to compete with China, but 50 paisa, man, 50 paisa they are selling, means our domestic industries cannot compete also. 1 year they may tolerate, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Seventh year, all the domestic industries will collapse. Okay, now nobody will do production. Now they will try to capture the entire, like this for 6 years and 7 years they try to capture entire market. After 7 years they will say one product is 50 rupees, right? 50 paisa. They will say tomorrow 20 rupees. Now you don't have any other choice, you have to buy them. This is known as predatory dumping. Okay, predatory instincts means you have to capture, wipe out everything, every domestic industries, and you should prevail in the market. That is the behind the idea. So what is the answer here? The sporadic dumping is driving out domestic and other competitors in a targeted market by knocking down the prices. This is wrong because there is no occasional sales. Occasional sale of goods at cheap prices in foreign markets to combat a temporary supplies of production back home. This is sporadic dumping. This definition is predatory dumping. So answer is D. Come to the 28th question. Which of the following statements regarding the consumer protection e-commerce rules 2020 is correct? Why I have asked this question? Because UPSC has habit of habit of asking about. Recently UPSC asked about the NGT Act, and it has asked about the Central Pollution Control Board rules. It has asked about the solid management rules, and it has asked about like this many times. So I felt that this is very new rule to India. Okay, first time they have brought this consumer protection e-commerce rules. E-commerce itself, it is newly evolving commerce, right? Economic activity, and so government has came up with this consumer protection e-commerce rule in 2020. So in 2020 they have it came up, right? But not in 2019. So they have not asked in 2020 prelims. So they may most probably ask in 2020 2021 prelims. So you should be ready with these type of questions, because they are going to ask for the first time. They may ask, means not very difficult questions with means not very difficult options they will not give you. They will give you very easy options only. So what are the easy options? Just you should know what is the nature of this rules. Is it advisory or mandatory? Now you say consumer protection e-commerce rules. Consumer protection, it is because it is consumer protection rules, it will be advisory or mandatory? Definitely it will be mandatory. It cannot be advisory. Advisory means what is the point of giving rules? Because however the companies will not obey the rules. If it is mandatory only, the companies will obey the rules, right? So you can eliminate one. When you eliminate one, answer is B. But still you should know one thing. One is it is mandatory. I am talking about the provisions now. The second one is it is applicable to the all e-commerce entities. Okay, all e-commerce means what? Not only whether they are registered in India or whether they are registered abroad. Okay, to all these entities it will be applicable. Okay, so means what? These in India, the e-commerce registered in India, take example Flipkart, they will be selling to Indian people only, right? Okay, and these foreign companies which are registered abroad who are selling to Indian customers, it will be applicable on them also. The next one is these companies should establish one nodal officer to ensure adherence to the rules. What rules? These rules. Okay. The next one is these companies, e-commerce. Okay. The e-commerce is a intermediary, right? The seller is here and buyer here. Seller will keep his products here. This guy will sell you product. Okay. The seller should actually in the product should describe about the every price, that is a total price of goods and services along with the breakup of charges. We have to display and he have to display about the expiry date very clearly and separately, and there should be a grievance readdressal mechanism. Okay, definitely if this company is not following any rules and the consumer got affected, where he have to go? We have to go for grievance readdressal mechanism, right? There should be this system also. Another one is nowadays what we have seen under the products, right? We can see so many fake news, fake reviews, right? Fake reviews we can see. Who is giving these fake reviews? These companies only will give. They will ask their employers to give this to this product five star, 5 star, 5 star like that, so that public will buy. Okay, these fake reviews should not take place. This is the sixth provision. What is the seventh provision? You have ordered. Now you have ordered one product. Okay, tomorrow you will cancel. When you are canceling, there should not be any cancellation charges also. Cancellation charges should not be there. So these are the few provisions, important provisions that you should remember. Now we'll see the options. What is the options? The rules are advisory in nature. This is wrong. Mandatory. The seller will have to display the total price of goods and services offered for sale along with the breakup of other charges. Correct. E-commerce entities can impose. No, this is wrong. Okay, they cannot impose the cancellation charges on the customer. So answer is only two. Only two. B is answer. So coming to the 29th question. With reference to the electricity in India, consider the following statements. Okay, why electricity? Because you should understand that electricity or a power sector is very important to the country like India. Why? Country like India means what? Is India is waste country? No, it is a developing country. For developing country to develop, what is utmost important, very important thing, what is that? That is electricity. Okay, that's why electricity is one of the 8 industries that we regard as a core industries. Okay, if electricity is not there, imagine primary sector will not work, secondary sector will not work, and tertiary sector will not work. Every sector is dependent upon the electricity, and it is even said that for next 2 decades demand for the electricity will increase by 4.5%. So electricity is very important for India. Okay, see, actually UPSC may ask about the energy crisis that India is facing. Okay, and energy crisis means what? Not only electricity. See, we are talking about energy. Here we are talking about the electricity. Energy includes even the oil, crude oil, and many other things. And energy crisis India is facing, it may ask, comment, it may ask, and the challenges that India is facing to develop its energy potential. Okay, it may ask like that. So you should be able to prepare like this. But especially if they want to ask about the electricity, they will ask only in prelims, not in mains. So this is this much important, right, for India. So what the Indian government has done to increase, to actually to increase the productivity of electricity and to increase the access to the electricity, we all know that electricity to all, India has started electricity to all. And Saubhagya bill also India has passed, is implementing. And most important thing is integrated power development scheme, it has started. What is this integrated power development scheme? It is actually under the Ministry of Power. Its objective is to reduce the AT&C losses and to provide 24 hours electricity to all the consumers and to achieve electricity to all households. Okay, now why it is in news? Under this scheme, the solar rooftop was installed or inaugurated in Salun. Where is this Salun? In Himachal Pradesh. Okay, and integrated power development scheme, right? These are the objectives. Okay, so is it central sector scheme or is it centrally sponsored scheme? It is a centrally sponsored scheme, not central sector scheme. Okay, now you may ask, what is this aggregate technical and commercial loss? See, technical means what? If transistor is not working or conductor is not working properly, loss will be there. Okay, if meter is defective, okay, we all know in our houses the meter is electric meter. If this is defective, there will be a loss because it will not read the meter, it will not do metering properly, and inefficiency in billing. Okay, all these things are any technical glitches will come under the technical losses. And what is the commercial losses? Commercial losses is default in payment to the discoms. Okay, government is not paying well to the discoms. And another is inefficiency in collection of revenues. Another one is theft. We all know, right? Theft. What is this theft? If this is a electric wires passing, okay, like this, what people are doing, they will take one hook and they are stealing this electricity for different purpose. This is also a loss for them. Like that, it will these losses will come under the commercial losses. You know, this A and C, ATC contributes to around 55% of the total electricity losses. So it is a major reason that should be addressed, major cause that should be addressed by the government. And you should know that what else? This electricity. We have spoke about the objectives, right? Now you should know that this electricity comes under the state government or union government, or is it concurrent list? It comes under the concurrent list. Extra information I am giving. India's target of renewable energy. Renewable energy means solar or wind, etc. Okay, it targeted to generate 175 gigawatt by 2022, right? In this 175, 100 gigawatt should come from the solar power and 60 gigawatt should come from the wind power. If you remember, this much is enough. Another thing is electricity. Okay, FDI under automatic route is allowed at 100%. Means automatic route means you no need to take any government permission. FDI can establish one electricity generation company or discoms 100%. Means they can own the completely. And integrated power development scheme is centrally sponsored scheme. This is correct, this is wrong. Answer is B. Coming to the 38th question, which of the following is transgenic crops is or approved by the government for commercial cultivation in India? Which is this? Is it BT cotton is approved, given approved, and BT brinjal, BT soyabean, BT mustard? Okay, all these technologies are present in India, but which is illegally approved? It is legally approved is only BT cotton. So answer is A. Who will recommend for the approval of these BT crops or GMO crops? It is already I have discussed with you, that is Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. This is chaired by whom? Ministry of Environment and Forest. Is it? No, wrong. It is chaired by the Special Secretary or Additional Secretary of Ministry of Forest and climate change. These committee will give recommendation to the Ministry of Environment, and the final decision will be taken by him. That's it. So that's it. Thank you. Next video we'll be discussing another 10 questions.